Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Master and Apprentice show. My name's Jacob, and this is...
I'm Gary, as always.
Yep.
All right.
Awesome.
Hey, this is episode 4 of the Master and Apprentice show. We're hitting the holiday weekends, aren't we? We've done July 4th.
Yep.
We've done Labor Day. We've done Christmas, and now we're on President's Day weekend. We're going to hit all the holidays eventually, so...
I don't even know what the next holiday is, but
I think it's going to be Memorial Day. It'll be the next big one coming up. So, anyway... So here we go. We're going to start off. We're going to get right to it because we have quite a bit to cover this week.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Star Wars news.
Suddenly Star Wars news is hitting. So.
Yeah, which is crazy because I believe last time we were in like a little bit of a drought for Star Wars news. So we were just predicting what may come, but now we have a lot to talk about. I
had to scrape back in my memory to remember the Adam Driver interview from our last show at Christmas time.
Definitely.
Otherwise, we would have had a 15-minute show. So. We're going to start off, there was some sad news, unfortunately, a couple weeks ago. Carl Weathers, who played Grief Karga on The Mandalorian, passed away, I believe, on February 1st.
Yeah.
And he's known for, obviously, more than that, too. He was Apollo Creed in the original Rocky films, and I'm not as familiar with them. I have to say I'm sorry that I know him only from being on The Mandalorian. I'm trying to do better at expanding my movie and TV show horizons.
That's where I'm at too. I pretty much only know him as Grief Karga and Mando.
I keep feeding him music. I keep feeding him 1980s music.
Trying to culture me. I'm still young, you know. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm still the master. He's still the apprentice. Here we go.
For music,
that's going to be our running gag on the show.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, this hasn't been talked about a lot. I guess he didn't have a long pro football career, but he had a pro football career.
Yep.
He played for the Oakland Raiders from 1970-71. And after they released him, he actually played pro football for the Canadian Football League, for the British Columbia Lions.
Yeah.
He was a linebacker before he turned his talents to acting afterward. And obviously, he must have been better at that than he was at football because he's had a longer acting career than he did a football career. But anyway.
Yeah, it'll definitely be sad to not see him in any upcoming projects. And, of course, we also agree for the family. But I think some of what my concerns lie now is with the Mandalorian project, just for the movie that was just announced, and I'm definitely curious to see what they're going to do with this. And it's giving me Bale Skull vibes because we obviously lost Ray Stevenson as well, and now there's confirmation on projects like that, just as there are for Mandalorian. So we're losing a lot of really good actors, unfortunately.
Yes. So and as Jacob said, we send our thoughts and sympathies out to the family, friends, and his fans. The good thing is we have him still. Every time we watch one of these episodes, he's there. And I thought the character was great. I thought he put on a great performance. He reminded me a little bit of Lando Calrissian. You're not quite sure what to think about him at first, and he's got better cape.
He fit into his role.
He has. I'll tell you what, Grief has better cape action going on than Lando does. He has to have the little droids to carry his cape because it's so long. Lando's cape only goes down to about calf level, so
definitely.
Grief had better.
The longer the cape, the bigger the personality, the better.
Grief had better cape action going than Lando did.
Definitely.
So there you go. So
but he will definitely be messed up.
Yes, very much so. So all right, the next thing we want to dive into. This is hard to believe. The Phantom Menace will be 25 years old on May 19th. It was released on May 19th, 1999. Now. You were born in 2003.
Yeah, so definitely a different perspective for me. I didn't even hear about this announcement. I was like, a class was just about to start for me, and then I go on Instagram, and Star Wars had posted it, and my mouth just about hit the floor. So I'm definitely going to try to go see that.
We're hoping it's going to come somewhere to our area here. Sometimes these re-releases are only in like the really big markets, like Boston, New York, Chicago. I'm hoping it's going to show up.
Yeah, me as well.
Maybe in your area or up here, where I live.
I think hearing Duel of the Fates on theater, I've never heard it like that, so I'm really looking forward to some different.
Well, that's the point I was going to make. He has never seen it in the
theaters.
Theater.
I only ever really grew up with them, not in theaters. I think I started watching a lot of Star Wars with the prequel trilogy because that's kind of what I grew up with, and then leading into the originals after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never saw it in theater, so it's a huge opportunity for me if they bring it to Bangor or some area.
Wherever.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere where you and I could get to it fairly easy because we're definitely gonna try to go see it if it does show up. I mean, I was there. You know, during the build up, and the internet was a thing, so you could go watch the trailer over and over again, even though you were on dial up. And yeah, exactly. Imagine that, huh?
Yeah.
And there was even books and magazines that came out, and just the hype for it, and that hype turned into maybe a little bit of disappointment when it came out. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a lot when it came out.
Just like with the sequels, the prequels had a lot of turbulence. But
yes.
People have gained a lot of respect for the prequels. And, I mean, I think a lot of people my age, too, the people that grew up with it, are those that are going to get a lot of mileage out of it.
That's the thing.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Right.
Hopefully we get to see it in theaters and can actually make a day out of it.
Yeah, be awesome. Be awesome to see it in the theater again. Sure. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
So, all right then. So the main topic of our show this time is Season 3 of The Bad Batch begins Wednesday the 21st. Now, I did not bring my checkered flag with me like I did last time, but who has two thumbs and totally called that one again? This guy!
Yeah.
Because on our last show I said, gee, maybe The Bad Batch might be the first thing we get.
Yeah, well, because we hadn't gotten a lot of announcements either. I don't know, because I mean... Last I thought we were going to get some stuff from Skeleton Crew, but we haven't seen anything from that, and a couple of other projects that we were anticipating. But so I guess I was a little wrong, because I don't think I was expecting Bad Batch first, if I'm entirely honest. But here we are.
I had no clue. It was a wag. It was a wild ass guess. So
yeah. Hey,
there you go.
Beat me on that one, master again.
So which of these topics here do you want to go into? You want to talk about Omega Crosshair, because they released a clip too.
Yeah, talking about the little snippet that they gave us. So once again, Star Wars is really good about posting stuff on Instagram. So I saw this here first. Again. Yeah. So it was a small little clip where Omega and Crosshair are both contained in their relative facilities, and I think she snuck through some vents or something.
Sounds like it the way she's talking.
What I got in there, but those two had a really pivotal dialogue, I think, and I think that's going to make a lot of difference, because obviously last we left, Crosshair had just betrayed the Empire. I think he killed a captain for... it was that episode in the snow where that one clone trooper that he went to go retrieve, the Imperial captain just let him die. And Crosshair was like, this has got to be some of the worst stuff that I've heard. And Crosshair kills him, so now he's here on Mount Tantus. So that's why he's here, and then obviously Omega got captured post the series finale of Season 2. Yeah. So different walks of life coming into this facility, but they both have a pretty in-depth conversation about Omega being like, "Oh, we need to escape," and Crosshair seems pretty defeated. He seems like he's not in
the trailer. If you look, now I'm interrupting you again. Sorry.
No, go for it.
In the trailer, excuse me. I mean, she meets up with him in the hallway when they're herding these prisoners. She's part of this line of prisoners that they're herding. She's going in the other direction with another group, I think.
Yeah.
And he just. I mean, he's a man who's whipped.
Yeah,
he's
definitely been defeated.
Yeah.
I mean,
excuse me,
mentally and probably pretty physically. There was this one thing that I noticed. Remind me the name of Omega's sister again. But
Emery Carr.
Yeah, Emery Carr. So Omega's sister. That was the biggest. I think that might have been the cliffhanger we were last left on.
That was my jaw drop moment. That final episode of Season 2. Yeah.
And Omega in that conversation brought her up, being like, "Oh, well, maybe we can use her to escape." And then Crosshair, in a really, defeatist mentality, was like, "Oh, I don't think that's going to work." And I saw a couple theories, and I kind of agree with them, is that maybe she's the one doing some of the beating for Crosshair, and maybe that's why he's so against the idea of her being a helpful
You didn't hit me with this before
resource.
the show, so that's
I'm dropping bombs, guys. This is what we're doing here.
This guy's he's like a Luftwaffe. He's dropping bombs on me here.
Yeah, but if that is the case, then we have a lot of character development for this character, because we don't know much about her yet. But it'll be really interesting to see how involved she is with the Empire, and to see if she'd be willing to betray it. I mean, even to this point, Crosshair wasn't willing to betray the Empire either. Yeah. Until now. So it seems like a lot of people got the Empire has a pretty good grasp on them. So we'll see how everything turns out with that.
They got their fingers everywhere, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm going to be interested to see, how she came about too. I mean, we knew of that Omega and Boba Fett were two unaltered clones. I'm assuming Emery is unaltered too.
My thought is, if
she's older.
Yeah, if she's the sister of Omega, I have to imagine that's probably the case, and she's probably also, because she's the sister of Omega and she's older, and I don't think she was before her, so she must have the aging that all the other clones have, where
maybe she does
faster. But we don't know a lot about her, and I think that, I mean, obviously that huge cliffhanger, they're not going to expose who she is in a trailer, because that would be silly. Right. So we'll learn a lot about her, and I believe the trailer, we'll talk about that a lot too. I think it was said that Nala Se has the answer. Well, no,
I said that. I said that. She's in the trailer. Yeah, they show Nala Se in the trailer.
So because Nala Se is in there, I bet you she'll carry a lot of the answers to who the sister really is, and honestly, a lot of why everybody's so interested in Omega and all that other stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think there's a lot we're going to find out about this testing facility as well. So.
They got a lot to pack. I don't think there's going to be filler episodes this time. They got a lot to pack.
I think that's some of the
episodes.
biggest complaints that people have had about the Bad Batch in the past.
Is
that some of the filler episodes. But honestly, some of those are pretty funny, so I don't know if I mind it so much. But
well, and you never know. Dave Filoni isn't as directly involved with this as he was with Clone Wars and Rebels. Yeah. But I think he's got his fingers in there a little bit, and just because we say it's filler now doesn't mean it's not going to come back somewhere and play a major role.
That's what some of the Clone Wars in the earlier seasons did too. A lot of those episodes were very go from battle to battle, very snippety type information,
right?
And then all of it kind of came into some big climactic. Like it did all come back at some point. So it wasn't all just completely useless information.
Yeah. Well, and the
so we'll see how they tackle this too.
the Purrgil and Rebels too. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. Yeah, same thing.
Definitely.
So you never know.
Star Wars is watching.
You never know with quote unquote filler episodes. They might come back to see you later. Not bite you, but
in a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Right. Exactly. I'm assuming we're going to get, this place is called Mount Tantus.
Yeah. I'm
assuming we're going to get some answers about that. I looked up the Legends information on it, and it was an experimental facility for cloning in Legends. Count Dooku had something to do with it.
Yep.
I don't know if
he may have,
and he may have, right, and he may have had something to do with it. We've gotten some Count Dooku stuff already, even though he's dead. We got him in season 2, where we didn't get him, but we got his facility, his home or his castle.
They went for his war chest.
They were going for the war chest. So I wonder, if we're going to hear something about the Dooku had something to do.
Maybe they were teasing us.
They could have. You don't know. You don't know with this stuff.
They definitely could have done that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And afterward, it was Palpatine's storehouse for oddities and treasures. I just looked at the summary.
Palpatine has a lot of storehouses.
He has a lot of oddities.
Yeah. Maybe he's just a very well planned odd man.
Well, let's talk about him, because he's in the trailer, and he says, I don't remember the exact line. Something like everything is here. I can't remember how he says it now.
Line either,
yeah, I don't remember the line, but his point he's making
something about a new era. He's ushering in some new era of something, but we don't know what that's going to be.
And he's making the point that the whole idea is he wants to preserve the Empire.
Yes, which is
yeah. So we're going to see him. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the unofficial thing you saw, or do you want to skip that?
So
he saw something unofficial.
Yeah, I saw something.
I don't know if we want to drop it or not.
It wasn't from some Star Wars channel, but it was something that I had saw. So
don't delete us. Don't delete us.
Very large grain of salt. More of a theory, actually. We might see Vader, but that's all I'm going to say. There is a potential now, because Vader tends to come into projects when the climax is very high, and there's a lot of moving parts at this point.
Please don't kill us, Lucasfilm. We're just doing responsible. We're just a couple of blokes doing responsible speculation.
Even if it might be some edited jargon that some bozo showed me.
It could have been.
All I care.
Yeah, it could have been.
He's right.
It could have been some bozo.
So,
just
a pinch of salt. But for the record, it could be a thing.
Let's see.
And that would be very interesting.
Let's see. But if you're right on this, I'll give you the checkered flag next time.
Very much so. And if that is the case, we definitely have some concerns for the opponents that our crew is going to face. I mean, like, Vader is no joke, and obviously from last season we already lost Tech, so we're already down a member. And then 2 of the Bad Batch are in Mount Tantus, so we have 3 left that are actual working forces with Rex, and we saw Rex in the trailer too. There's a lot going on.
We saw a lot of people in the trailer. We saw someone who calls herself Asajj Ventress.
Yes.
In the trailer.
rocking some green lightsabers.
Rocking some green lightsabers.
Kind of going back to her initial form, because in the Clone Wars we saw her with flashbacks with her previous Jedi Master before she got tainted by Dooku.
Right.
And she also had green lightsabers then, I believe, too. So she's kind of reverted back to her Jedi state, removing any of the dark side tendencies after she got betrayed by Dooku. So
I've got some information on this, and I think I'm going to drop a bomb on you now.
School me.
So there was a book. There was going to be an 8-episode arc of the Clone Wars that was going to wrap up her storyline. Mm-hmm. Of course, after Disney bought Lucasfilm, they canceled the Clone Wars after the 5th season. Of course, came back. We got extra episodes. We got the 7th season. We didn't get that 8-episode arc about Asajj. Those 8 episodes, the scripts were turned over to, I don't remember the name of the author now. Those scripts were turned over to one of the Star Wars authors, and she wrote a book. Now I can't remember the name of the book. You and I were blanking. You were doing some blanking earlier on some names before we started the show too.
It's the 3-day week.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But there was a book written that basically covered that, what was going to be that 8-episode Clone Wars arc. You want me to drop the bomb on you?
Drop the news.
So she dies at the end of it. Asajj dies at the end. What the basic storyline is, the Jedi Council decides that they are going to, they're going to assassinate Count Dooku. They decide to get in touch with Quinlan Vos. Quinlan and her team up to get close to Dooku. Quinlan turns to the dark side, and she has to, turn him back. I mean, they end up falling in love with each other on this whole thing, her and Quinlan. And at the end of it, to save him, she dies. And the end of the book is very emotional. He and Obi-Wan take her to Dathomir. They bury her in the waters on Dathomir so she can be with her sisters. The executive producer, now I don't remember his name either. I'm doing a lot of not remembering today. I'm 56 years old, okay?
Paraphrasing.
Right. The executive producer of Bad Batch has said that her storyline in Bad Batch is going to line up with that book. So I can tell by your reaction, this is a bomb I'm dropping on you.
Yeah, that is.
So this is either one of two things. This is my theory. It's a flashback.
Could be.
It's a flashback. Because that hairdo she has was the hairdo she was going to have in that 8-episode arc.
Yeah.
It's kind of a punk rocker hairdo she's got going there. It's either a flashback or it's some Night Witch magic. Ooh. And she has been resurrected in some way.
Yeah.
They've figured out a way to make that happen. So she shows up. I don't know which is going to be. I can only think it's going to be one of those two things. When you started
explaining that, I thought for sure this was going to end in a retcon, but I guess I'm wrong. So
this isn't going to be a retcon.
If that's what they want to do, and they're going to keep everything true to word, then
he said this lines up with that book. I wish I could remember the name of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep
Dark Disciple.
For all that.
Dark Disciple is the name of the book.
There you go.
Yeah, I knew it would come to me eventually. Dark Disciple is the name of the book. I still don't remember the name of the author. But Christy Golden. I just thought of the name of the author. Christy,
everything's clicking.
Bang, 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 bang.
Something changed in the air.
Comes in
the atmosphere.
It's just like Phil Collins in the air tonight. Your dad's sitting out here in the kitchen in front of us. He's laughing at me.
We got a chuckle from our audience.
But so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with her.
Very interesting.
If what he says is true.
Yep.
And I have no reason to doubt him. So.
No, I've always appreciated her character too because she was in none of the actual movies. She was very unique to the Clone Wars. So seeing her kind of come back in a Clone Wars adjacent project is really cool. That'll be really interesting.
I think she has one of the best character arcs, which is why I'm sorry to see they never did that 8-episode finale for her story arc. I think she has one of the best character arcs in Star Wars.
If they keep it true to everything, this might be a good opportunity for them to bounce off of the Bad Batch and to create some project that might be about Asajj, if they don't talk about it enough in the Bad Batch itself.
That's true.
If it's not a flashback, if it actually is current, they would have the ability to kind of bounce off of the ideas that they laid down here.
Bad Batch has been using some of those unused things. There was that episode last year where they were on Kashyyyk with the Wookiees, where they found the Jedi Padawan there. I can't remember his name.
Nope. I can't either.
Yeah. But anyway, a lot of that stuff you saw in that episode, there was going to be a Kashyyyk arc in Clone Wars too, and they used all that stuff. Those bugs that fire the webs at them.
Yep.
Those were going to be in there, and so forth.
Yeah. So it seems like it's a good opportunity potentially if they choose to go that route. It would be very interesting to see that.
I'm talking about Dr. Hemlock. This guy, I don't like him at all. And I don't like that hand of his. He's messing with that hand. What's going on there? Does he have an artificial hand?
He might. So
why does he keep playing with it? He should be used to it.
It's very he should be very used to it. Luke was used to it after.
Luke got used to his. Right. I mean, they picked him with the thing there a couple times, and he was used to it.
And then he was just right off with the races on him.
He was off with the races. It was fun.
Yeah, he's a very interesting character to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're going to do with him at the end of the series. I don't know if their plan is to keep him around for future projects or if he might die. I think a lot of people would like to see him die because he's kind of a he's a bad word.
He's a word we don't want to use on the show. Like I said earlier in another show, we want to keep it clean.
Yeah, definitely.
In case we got any youngsters watching.
Definitely.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens. There's a lot of mysteries in this show.
Yeah, especially with all the testing, because obviously he's going to be the one that's leading those initiatives. So it'll be interesting to see.
I still think this is going to
his involvement's going to be.
I still think this is going to lead. It's not going to be specifically mentioned. I still think this is all going to lead to how Palpatine came back.
Yeah. I mean, well, especially because if this is like the Mount Tantus from the Legends material, and all that stuff, and it is just a big facility for cloning experiments,
and
we already have a lot of evidence to suggest that's going to be the case because we have Omega, who's one of the first clones ever made, and then just a bunch of other clones like Crosshair there too, who's genetically modified to be different. I mean, I would find it really interesting if they can get Hemlock to have a conversation with Palpatine directly and have a direct one-on-one conversation about the goals of this facility and be like, hey, this is what we're trying to do, and then give the viewers some sort of information about what's going on here. Because other than that it's a testing facility, we have no idea what the purposes of them being there for is. And for now, it might just be a bait to get the other members of the Bad Batch there and in containment, which I wouldn't be shocked if that was some of it.
Well, that's a well-earned story trope. Bring your friends, capture your friends, and the rest will
follow.
Will follow.
They'll follow the trap as well.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see what happens there.
Omega fell into that trap when she got captured in the first place. She was supposed to run away at the end of that second season.
That's right,
and
she was.
She fell into the trap, and that's how she got captured. So maybe we'll see some sort of reflection, but I doubt it because at the same time, there's no way all of them are going to get captured because that would be, at least in my opinion, that I don't know. There's a lot of avenues they could take. I don't even think my thoughts are fully together about
this. This is one, I'll tell you, out of all the series, any seasons of The Mandalorian or any of the others, this is the one I'm going into with not doubts about the quality of it. The quality is going to be really great, I think. Doubts about what's going to happen.
Yeah. And how they're going to, how many episodes was it, did they say?
We're getting 15 this time. We're getting 15.
And I think that's pretty similar to all the other ones we got as well. So
there's been 16. Yeah. We've had one filler episode in each of the 2 seasons, so that means they're dropping the filler episode.
Yeah, and they're maybe, but
I don't think they're going to be.
They don't have a ton of room.
Yeah, it's the final season. I don't think they get room for filler.
No,
I really don't think they do. This time.
And even with the time that they have for the episodes, normally those episodes are
20 to 25 minutes.
They're not very long. I mean, they're shorts.
And that includes the little intro and outro. That includes the credits at the end.
Yeah, which carries with it a pretty awesome tune. I'm not going to lie, but it does suck up some time.
Gumshoe is the name of the Wookiee Padawan. That just struck me. See,
what is with this guy?
I don't know. I can't think of it. I can't think of it. Now I'll go off in another direction, talk about something else, and then what I couldn't remember earlier, it gets drilled in my head somehow. I don't know.
Perfect.
I'm weird. But, so we're going to see Cad Bane. We're going to see Fennec Shand again.
Yes, which is also really interesting bringing into Asajj Ventress there because she was a bounty hunter there for a while too. So we just have a lot of bounty hunters coming in, and they're probably going to be hunting down Hunter and Wrecker and all.
They're bringing in all the guns, let me tell you. I wonder if we're going to see some of the others too. The guy that throws his hat. Embo. Hey, I thought of his name. How about that? Wow.
I almost said Edo, but that's
you would have been close.
That's not right.
You would have been close. So anyway, well, did we miss anybody? Who else did we see in the trail? We talked about Palpatine. We talked about the bounty hunters. We've talked about Asajj.
I guess kind of bouncing off from the Palpatine thing, he's surrounded by Praetorian guards, so that's kind of just a little neat detail. But I can't remember if in the previous sites of him we've seen him with Praetorian guards. For some reason, I don't think I remember that. So
the Red Guards actually show up as far back as Attack of the Clones. Yeah. They're still using the guys in blue. They have like the horsehair fur on their helmets, the old style.
Yeah, the Coruscant Guard.
If you look in the background there in that opening scene in Attack of the Clones, they're not really the opening scene, but when the Jedi Knights are meeting with Palpatine about the Confederacy,
they are there.
You can see a couple of them there in the background. So as far back as Attack of the Clones, he's got the red dudes.
Yeah. But it's also cool to see them. And I think the other thing I wanted to kind of talk about was the Commando Troopers. And them being around. So obviously last season we saw them, and they were doing the training of all of the new recruits, right? And I am also forgetting the name of the commando troop with the black armor. He's from the games.
They're Death Troopers, right? Is that what you're talking about?
No, not the Death Trooper. It's the Commando.
I know what you're talking
black
about.
insignias on him. But
anyway,
either way, he's from Republic Commando, the game.
Yeah.
And I think he was in this trailer as well. So
I think you're right. I'm not familiar with that game. Maybe you are.
I haven't played the game, but I've seen at least some of the snippets of it. But at the bare minimum, it'll be cool to at least see that. And it'll also be interesting to see if they explain where all the commandos go, because after they do all the training, we don't see them again. This is the only time in the series where we got the hint that they were the trainers for the initial batch of new recruits. So it'll be interesting to see if those are still clones, if Palpatine chooses by the end of this series to dispatch all of them and end them off. So definitely some work to do with that, because we don't see them in the original trilogy at all. So
no,
that will be interesting.
You mean the clones, or the
commandos?
The commandos, right? We don't see them at all.
Yeah, and the clones. To be fair,
well, you see Rex. He's been the guy with the white beard there in Return of the Jedi when they recapture the bunker. The guy with the old guy with the white beard has been retconned to be Rex.
Yep.
We know that's Rex.
He wasn't originally, but
he wasn't in Legends. He wasn't originally.
For whoever doesn't know, rewatch Return of the Jedi and look for it. You'll see on Endor there is a pretty obviously old dude with a pretty nice beard. Yeah, looks very similar to Rex, and they
get ready to recapture.
They might have just made that person Rex as a retcon, but
they did not. Might have. They did.
Oh yeah, they did.
He is Rex, so
which is very cool.
Anyway, all right, this is going to be a tough topic. Who survives and who doesn't?
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
I've got some thoughts.
Yeah, so
you go first.
Obviously, they are not against killing off any of the lead members of this Bad Batch, because
we've lost Tech.
Already seen Tech.
I've heard some people say he might be alive. I think he's dead.
I honestly don't think I'd like them if they brought Tech back, because for me, I think it would cheapen the loss at the end of that.
Marvel does that crap all the time. They bring characters back.
Yeah, and I like to see it. Well, I don't like to see characters die, but I mean, like, the emotional impact is obviously there.
You gotta have some emotional weight added to the story.
Yeah, and Tech emotionally sacrifices himself to save the rest of the team, so I think it would be a little cheap to bring him back like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I don't know who I expect to essentially get killed off, or if any of them are going to, but I suspect maybe Crosshair at the end of it, because I'm conflicted of whether or not he's going to get some sort of redemption back to their side after he gets rescued, or if he's going to try to find a way to sacrifice and pay it forward after all of the bad things that he did for them. So I think there's two, potentially even more avenues for his character development, and I would not be shocked if he was one of the characters we lost by the end of it. So
I don't even know if I want to give my thought.
What's your thought? You gotta say it.
We're live. It's too late to turn. We're live.
Gotta turn back now.
Yeah, and we don't edit this stuff. This is raw, baby.
Yeah.
Someone was asking me earlier this week. You guys edit that? No, don't edit that. Hi, Lori. That's my friend. That's my friend Ken. Hi, Ken. And since I'm calling on all my friends, hey, Derek. He watches too.
It's like a river. We just flow.
That's right. You know? That's right. So, and hi to the family. They're in the living room watching.
Yeah.
One of the themes of the second season was the rights of the clones following the war. Their right to be equal citizens, their right
be like
to
autonomous
survive.
in society, be able to have opinions and not just be war.
There was that story arc, right? There was that story arc with Senator Chuchi. And she meets up with Omega, and Omega says, "You mean they're not represented in the Senate?" And, no, they're not.
No.
And
In fact, they're very underrepresented to the
Right,
point
they're
where
very-
they're not represented at all.
And obviously,
Like,
Omega being a clone,
Yeah.
it's near and dear to her heart,
Yep.
and she cares about her brothers. I wonder if she's going to sacrifice herself.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
It's hitting me a little bit thinking
Yeah.
about it.
I could see it. Yeah, it's definitely.
I
an
kind of
interesting-
hope they don't.
Yeah, I hope they
But-
don't either. My thing is because she's like a child or like a younger person.
Yeah, that's probably
won't,
why
just,
they
just
wouldn't.
because it's animated. So
That's
like,
probably why they
the
wouldn't.
animated
Yeah,
series tend to
yeah.
be catered more towards
Yeah.
children.
I hope they
well,
don't.
well, I say that, but the Clone Wars was pretty bad.
I'm not saying it because I
sometimes, so-
want to see it.
No,
It's-
but
you want to talk about
I
emotional
was going to
weight.
say the emotional toll would be crazy, and I
Yeah.
think some of the reason why they removed Tech from the second season was because Tech was everybody's like quote unquote favorite because of all of his snarky quips. Like dude was fast on it. So I think I think people really liked his character, and they were like, perfect. We're gonna make sure he doesn't live,
Right.
and he sacrifices himself. So
Exactly.
I have to wonder if that's some of their metric for it. Is oh well, they like this character.
I don't-
Where's the emotional weight the highest? But I doubt it.
I don't think they're going to kill her off, but I'm always thinking of things that add emotional weight to the story.
Yeah.
And Star Wars is one of those properties that's been around long enough.
Yeah.
You got to do something new once in a while, and
Yeah.
even though it's risky, and even though it's might be unpopular, you look
Gotta
at the
do it.
reaction that The Last Jedi got. There were some risky and unpopular story decisions made there. I enjoyed them. That's one of my favorite movies, but there were some risky and unpopular story decisions made there, especially with the Luke character.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Hamill didn't even like it.
No. I was
he
gonna
he
say, I think
didn't
he's-
like some of the story
He's
choices they made.
come out in a couple interviews where he
Yeah.
wasn't too proud of it.
But to his credit, he put on that was probably his best performance as Luke Skywalker.
He's pretty good.
Honestly,
pretty solid.
Yeah, actually.
But yeah,
So, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single character in the Bad Batch main team where I couldn't see them potentially sacrificing themselves for the greater cause of the team. The only person I maybe couldn't see is Hunter for some reason, but that's maybe just because he is their leader.
He could sacrifice himself for her.
Yeah,
For
I don't.
Omega.
Yeah,
That could happen.
yeah, I could see that.
That
but-
seems probably more likely than my thought, but I had to get my thought out there. I had to get it off my chest.
Fair
basically,
enough.
it's been keeping me up at night.
It's yeah.
Not really,
Yeah.
but
Is it really theorizing if you don't lose sleep over it? No, yeah.
I love Star Wars, but I don't lose sleep over it.
No,
I can tell you
neither
that.
do I.
Okay. Is there anything else we want to cover on Bad Batch?
Oh man,
or-
I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like this is
think
going to be definitely a ride, and it's coming
Oh, yeah.
this week. So
Coming Wednesday.
I have a lot of
3 episodes.
I'm going to budget my homework so I can
You're-
watch it.
You're
The
good at
night
budget.
It goes out.
I'm glad I'm not in college because I was never good at budgeting my time. He's excellent at it.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
not. I'm still not to this day.
Yeah.
But I'm a procrastinator. But anyway,
I procrastinate my own right, but when it comes to Star Wars, I'm going to be fast about it.
yeah. So there's going to be 3 episodes too on Wednesday.
Oh man, well, it might just be a little bit more spread out than that.
It might.
But I'll watch the first.
You'll
one.
go watch the first one at least. So
Yeah.
and then there's a couple weeks there we get 2. I can't remember specifically which weeks they are.
Yeah.
And it wraps up May 1st, I think.
Yep.
So that'll be the 15th.
Which
episode.
wraps up very timely for the Phantom Menace release on May the 4th.
You're counting on that coming to.
So,
you're
yeah.
counting on that coming to
My
Central
brain
Northern
is
Maine,
fixed.
aren't
I
you?
have a screenshot of it in my camera.
It might.
I don't want to forget.
So, it might because the hit movie release, the blockbuster movie releases. Marvel's only going to release Deadpool 3 this year.
Yep.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of big tentpole movie releases this year. I may be wrong about that. Maybe there's another Avatar coming. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not
but
sure
either
either,
way,
but that might be later in the year.
They might have room for it. I
Yeah,
can see it.
yeah,
Either way.
yeah, because they're scaling back on the Marvel stuff. It feels like and what have you. So okay, so I think we've covered Bad Batch then pretty well, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
Seems like it.
I got a trivia question for you. We're gonna do trivia again today.
I usually get these wrong, by the way.
Well, and I feel bad about it. I mean, the point of trivia is to stump the person, but I kind of feel bad I've been stumping you.
Yeah.
So I've
it's
got
good.
one today. I've got one today specifically about the movies. I think you might get.
Okay.
We're talking about the movies themselves here. So,
Okay.
not background actors who played background characters who later became pretty famous actors, like John Ratzenberg. Had to bring that.
I don't even know. Who
Had to bring that. Or lead singers from '80s synth pop bands like Terry Nunn from Berlin, which was our first trivia question.
Yeah, I got
All
that
right.
one wrong.
So yeah, you got that one wrong too. All right. So as we know, there are 9 Skywalker saga movies.
Yes.
We're not counting the Clone Wars animated movie. We're not counting the 2 standalones, Solo and Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
The 9 Skywalker Saga movies all start off with the big John Williams fanfare, the Star Wars title card going through the screen, and the big opening crawl, telling you where we're at, where our story is at this point in time. And then after that, we get our opening shot. Now, in 8 of the 9 Skywalker Saga movies, the camera pans down to reveal our opening shot. What is the only movie that the camera pans up after the crawl?
Oh, man.
You know, you could just take a stab guess at this because you've got a 1 in 9 shot.
I do got a 1 in 9 shot.
So think about it. Try to visualize. Use the Force, young
trying to
Padawan,
visualize it.
and try to visualize those opening crawls and which one pans up to reveal our opening shot.
I know a few that it's definitely not. Like, I know for sure it's not Revenge of the Sith.
It's not Revenge of the Sith.
I've seen that movie too many times.
Yeah, that's your main go-to. I know that.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Jeez. I'm just gonna flat out guess and say it's Empire Strikes Back. But I feel like that's wrong.
It is.
What is it?
It's Attack of the Clones.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Shoot.
the opening crawl, and it pans up, and you see the bottom. Well, not really. There's no up, down, or top and bottom in space, but you see a little bit of Coruscant, and then the Queen's, or she's a senator at this point, Amidala's ship flies through with the N1s escorting it, and even the way the ships, I think, come in from the bottom, if I'm not right, whereas a lot of ships, like in A New Hope, they come at you from the top.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I knew for sure, like...
Yeah.
I knew for sure it wasn't a few of them, but I was struggling. First, I was pretty close to almost guessing one of the sequels because I feel like I hadn't seen those ones as many times, so I feel like that would have been it.
No,
but,
it's Attack of the Clones.
Huh.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in the theater.
Again.
I remember I caught it too right when I saw it in the theater, and I said, "Oh God, the camera's going up." I think I almost said it out loud too.
Seriously?
Probably almost got kicked out of the place. But anyway, I remember I caught it. Right.
Too much yapping in the theater.
I'd watched those others so many. I mean, at that point, we'd only had 4 movies. We'd had the original trilogy.
Yep.
Phantom Menace. I'd watched them so many times. I knew, it's like, oh my God, the camera's going up. What's going on here?
Funny.
Yeah. So anyway,
The more you
God,
know.
I'm sorry.
He's kicking me down.
I thought I was gonna get you to guess this one, but it didn't happen. So,
No.
all right.
Tough.
All right. Maybe next time. I'll come up with
And
another.
I'm a prequel fan. And I still.
That's the thing. He's a prequel fan. He should know. That's the other reason I thought he was in it.
Yeah.
You're a big time. I'm a prequel fan. I love it. I've always loved the prequels. Yeah. Unabashed. Can't deny it. So.
Sure.
All right, so I think we're going to have a little bit of a show announcement. We're going to talk in general terms. We're not sure what's going to happen, but I'll turn it over to you. Let the folks know what your plans are going to be over the summer.
Yep. So during the summer, I have an engineering co-op. I'm not going to say where necessarily, but it'll take me 3 months or so of my time. So in the future, if we do choose to do another show, we might choose to modify the platform a little bit. So instead of it being in person, we would do something online or choose to postpone it for a while. We're not 100% sure, but once things get going with all that and I figure out how comfortable I can be doing stuff virtually, we might be able to pull something together so we can make an announcement in due time.
Right, exactly.
When that all works out.
Yeah, I think if we can get the technology to work, I know other shows do it. I know, like, I watched one called The Resistance Broadcast. Those 3 folks are in, I think, wildly different parts of the country.
Yep.
And maybe not wildly different parts of the country, but far enough apart they can't travel every week to get together. I mean, they do 2 shows a week on Mondays and Thursdays. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, they've got the 3 split screens with the 3 folks doing the show. And
we might be able to do
we
the
might
same
be able to
thing,
do that.
but with 2 split screens.
We might, it'd be 2.
But.
So, and if we can't get it to work, then we're going to have a little hiatus. We're not going to go anywhere. I may post like a text post on the Facebook page if something big happens.
Sure.
Otherwise, if we can get the technology to work, we might do a remote show, with him where he's going to be at and me back here where I'm at all the time. So,
break down the bad batch.
Break down the bad batch.
Right,
You know?
by that
Well,
point-
you know what though? We might be able to do that. We might come see you before.
Yeah, there's actually
You head out.
there's a very good chance.
Yeah, so we might be able
have
to break
to
down.
plan it,
We
but
might
we'll
do
see.
one more
We'll see.
show locally here before he heads off.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see what the timing is. And whatnot. The weather's going to start getting better here. Our winter actually hasn't been too bad this year.
No.
So
I've seen grass every day. That's not good.
it's been nuts. It's been nuts. So anyway.
Yep.
All right. I think that wraps it up for episode 4 of the Master and Apprentice show, huh?
Awesome. Well, thank
All right.
everybody so much for
Thank you
watching
again.
and tuning in, and
Yeah.
we'll come back to you pretty soon, I hope.
Absolutely. Take care, folks.
Sounds good.
Have a great weekend.
See y'all later.